So I never dreamed of having the fairy tale, the marriage, the boy, the girl, the dog, and the white picket fence. That was never my dream. To be perfectly honest, I didn't even want children in my early 20s when everybody else started, getting married and having kids and doing all the things. I wasn't interested in that. I was interested in traveling and partying and having fun. I was working on my secondary degree. So the fairy tale, the white picket fence, the husband, the kids, all of that stuff, that was nothing that I ever dreamed about or wanted. And then one day, poof, I changed my mind. The next thing you know, I was super mom. I had 2 wonderful children. I had a job with the state and I was doing all the things. So what changed? What happened? Why did I change my mind? I don't know. But just as quickly as I changed my mind about having those kids, fast forward 20 years and boom, I'm an empty nester. Now what? Hey, it's the seasoned lady coming back at you with another one. And this time I wanted to talk to you guys about being an empty nester and how we need to embrace that. Because for years, I had no life that didn't revolve around my children. They were the busiest human beings on the planet, and I was here for all of it. So I ripped, I ran, we did sports, we did extracurricular activities, we took trips, we did all the things. And then one day, they were gone. And I had to figure out, so what is it that you used to do? What happened? Why are you feeling like you don't have anything to do? And then it hit me, girl, that is not your life anymore. So we pivot, we change. I went from being a party girl to traveling the world to doing all the things to being super mom to now being an empty nester. And now it's time for me to embrace that. So I got a few tips or a few ideas as to how we get here, and then a few tips on how we embrace the current situation that we're in and what we need to do. So, I've got my notes here. So let's talk about it. How do we become empty nesters, or how did it get to be the point where the nest felt empty? I pretty much live by myself. My youngest child lives in Tallahassee and is completing his education. And my oldest child lives in Miami and she is living her best life. I talk about her all the time on my videos, so most of you probably know who she is and what they've got going. But then once my baby left home, I didn't know what to do with myself. I couldn't remember what I like to do. I couldn't remember all the fun things that happened. I couldn't remember any of that stuff. So I had to just kind of sit down, reflect on what I like to do, and then pick up from there. So there are a few phases that I went through as an empty nester, and I'm sure that many of you can relate to them. So let's talk about it. What can we do to embrace this time of our lives and then move on into this next phase? So like I said, I went through several phases of being an empty nester. And I went through every emotion that one could possibly go through. And I never thought that that would be me. I never thought that that would be my life, that I would be on an emotional roller coaster, because I now had my life back, which was the one thing I always planned for. Because when I did decide to have children, I decided that I was not going to be 40 years old on the kindergarten bus stop. So I had to have my child at a certain age so that, I wouldn't be 40 on the kindergarten bus stop. I told myself if I didn't have my second child by the time I was 35, my baby would be an only child, because I was not going to be 40 on the kindergarten bus stop. So I'm a planner. This thing just didn't happen willy-nilly. However, them growing up and leaving, they came way faster than I expected. So I felt every single emotion: grief, loss, loneliness, guilt, that if I felt too good about them being gone, it would make me a terrible mom. I went through every emotion there was. My relationships changed. My relationship with my children changed. I was used to seeing them every day and knowing what was going on in their day-to-day lives, to the point where I didn't even talk to them every day. If you are married and you've had, children and your life is revolved around them, sometimes your relationship with your partner will change, because you have had these people in between you all of this time, And then all of a sudden, it's just the two of you again. So you have to figure out what it is that you like about each other again and how you can incorporate that into your life. Your relationship with your friends change because for, many years, you guys didn't have time for each other. Now you have nothing but time. So those relationships change. So what I like to call it is a newfound freedom. That was the last phase. So you know how when something tragic happens, you go through your stages of loss. You grieve for a little bit, and then you start to recognize that things in your life have changed. And then you resolve yourself to, that isn't my life anymore. I've got to get a new life. And it's a newfound freedom. You can cook or not cook. You can travel and not have to consider anyone's schedule but yours. There's unlimited peace. Now, I know my scenery has changed a little bit. My sister had surgery yesterday, so I'm sitting with the patient. So I'm taking advantage of the new decor. I am in her office recording my videos, and I find it quite lovely. I hope you guys do too. Things stay where you put them when the nest is empty. You don't have to worry about going back in there and your leftovers being gone. So there's some upsides to being an empty nester. And you feel guilty about that at first, but then it settles in and you go, my bathroom is clean. My hall bathroom is clean because I never use it. And it only gets used if I have somebody over. So things stay clean. If something is in the sink, I'm the one who put it there. So there's some upsides, to being an empty nester. And once I discovered that, there are a few tips that I want to share with you guys, or a few suggestions that helped me move into where I am now. And the first thing was that I had to, and I'm looking at my notes, guys, I apologize. I had to rediscover my identity. But the beautiful thing about rediscovering my identity was that the canvas was blank. I could paint whatever I wanted to paint. I could become whoever I wanted to become. I could continue to do all of the things that I was already doing. I didn't have to change a thing because I was at a good place in my life. I had to reconnect with my goals and create some new goals. And one thing I learned in that process is that dreams don't expire. All you have to do is sit down, reimagine those things, and allow them to come true. Just like the dream of being a mom came true. I have a son and a daughter. I had the best of both worlds. That wasn't something I originally contemplated in my early 20s, but that's what actually ended up happening. So, dreams never expire. So just like I dreamed of, doing certain things when I was in college and single and childless, dreams don't expire. So I had to come up with some new dreams and try some new things, like getting in front of this camera, talking to you guys. And I had to embrace my self-care. It's difficult going from a full-time super mom to just taking care of yourself again. Now, I was the queen of self-care. I always, kept my nails done. In fact, I was a nail tech for almost 15 years. I believed in getting my hair done and all of those things. But when you have kids, you let those things kind of go by the wayside. I gained weight. I went through menopause and the weight stayed with me. So you do have to prioritize your self-care. So now I'm back, doing some yoga for stretching and balance and relaxation. I told you guys in the video earlier, I'm on a weight loss journey, so I am taking some weight loss medication. I am trying to get out and exercise and walk now that, the weather is warming up some here in Florida. I take care of myself. I do what I need to do to embrace my self-care, all while staying connected to my children. Now, my connection to my children is different. Like I said, I don't talk to them every day. God knows I don't get to see them every day because one lives on the other end of the state and the other one is 2.5 hours away. But I do embrace the times that I see them. They still come home for holidays. We still do family things together. But my role is different. I am more here now for guidance and direction when asked. I don't volunteer my opinion. I don't stick my nose in their business. My kids still need me, but they need me in a different way. So what I want to say to you guys is, if you happen to be a recent empty nester, then embrace that. Discover what you love again and dive headfirst into those things. If you're going to be a empty nester soon, start planning for it. Don't get shocked by it like me. My son left for college in 2019, and then we had the big C in 2020, and I found myself home alone all day long, every day. Not only could I not engage in activities that I was trying to start doing as an empty nester, but the world stopped moving. So I found myself kind of in an unnatural situation real quick. So what I want to say to you guys is plan ahead for it. Start thinking about what you want to do in this next phase of your life. And don't get bent out of shape because your kids don't need you the same way they previously did. They still need you. They just need you in a different way. And let them tell you what that is. Don't overstep. Allow them to be the young adults that you raised them to be. And we'll all be much better off for it. So I'm going to ask you guys to like my video, subscribe to my channel, and I hope everyone has an absolutely wonderful afternoon.